Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started. This is a meeting of the Chelsea Licensing Commission. Today is Thursday, May 9th, 2024. Joining me this evening are my fellow commissioners, and I apologize, Ennio Lopez? Yes. Mike McAteer, Emily Cherniak, thank you. I'm having a little bit of a brain moment today. Emily Cherniak, Alexandria Christmas, our licensing clerk, Naomi Lebron, our assistant city solicitor, Peter Christopher, and we have several from our police department. We have Officer McLaughlin, Officer Santiago, and Sergeant Chung, and myself, Marnie McAlpine. So thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. If we could kick things off with a clerk's update.
Well, the police department is going to talk about the update on Emiliana Fiesta's 30-day revolving cameras.
Yep, can everyone hear me? Okay, so I did go by, I spoke with the owner's son, Alex, who was very helpful. Their cameras do record at least 30 days, and they also have installed the rear camera that was missing from there to cover all their angles. I will say they got that done within 1 week, so they're in compliance now.
Very good. Moving on to communications.
So a letter from the owner of Acapulco Restaurant. He's writing to make the licensing board aware that their establishment experienced a devastating fire on September 14, 2023. Since then, they have been working through the insurance process settlement with the assistance of Seltzer and Goldstein. They anticipate the settlement will be finalized by May 15 of this year. Following the statement, their next step will be to commence reconstruction. We'll expect to begin on July 1st. Given the extent of the damage and the necessary rebuilding processes, we anticipate requiring a minimum of 6 months for the completion of reconstruction. In light of these circumstances, we kindly request an extension of our liquor license for a period of 8 months to accommodate the necessary reconstruction efforts, ensure that Acapulco can resume its operation as soon as possible. We assure you that we will comply with all regulations and requirements during this period. We are committed to keeping the licensing board informed of our progress. Thank you for your attention in this matter. And that's it. So they don't want it to be a pocket license, so that's why they're informing us that they're going to be starting to reconstruct. Yeah. Okay?
Thank you.
Could you just remind me, is there a period of time?
6 months.
6 months, so we're going to extend it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good, thank you.
Okay, the next communication is an email from Officer Santiago concerning Bar La Cueva. Officer Santiago.
Good evening, Officer Santiago, Chelsea Police, assigned to Uniform Patrol, also assigned to the licensing unit under Sergeant Star Chung. Tonight I'm going to bring forward to you some security footage from La Cueva bar at 802 Broadway. Also, I handed out to each one of the license commissioners my investigation report along with the city ordinance laws there. That's clearly written in the policies, so you can track along. Can I start the video now, or am I up next, or do we have an agenda? Am I on now?
No,
Okay.
We'll do that during.
Okay. With that being said, the report's in your hand. Just to remind the commission that we just approved their hours to be extended, and if the violation occurred within 9 and a week later, as you see through the video, in my investigation report, you'll see what happens.
This is an email. The next communication is an email from the city solicitor as to the Como en Casa application. The school administration is opposed to an establishment being granted an any alcohol or beer and wine license that is directly across the street from the Early Learning Center. The center opens early and closes approximately at 6:30. The Licensing Commission has not issued a license to an establishment close to a school for several years. The only one currently with a license is Acapulco, and there was a restaurant bar there prior to the school being built. That's the communication from the city solicitor. And then we have communication from the ABCC advising mixed drinks to go, effective immediately, on-premise alcoholic beverages licensee license for the sale of all alcoholic beverages, distilled spirits, or cordials, liqueurs, may sell mixed drinks permitted under their type and category of license for off-premise consumption subject to the following conditions. 1, the mixed drink must be combined on the licensed premise. 2, the mixed drink should not be sold to a person under 21 years of age. 3, any delivery of mixed drinks for off-premise consumption should not be made without verification that the person receiving the order has attained 21 years of age. 4, the mixed drink must be sold in a sealed container. 5, the mixed drink must be sold as part of the same transaction as the purchase of food, and any order that includes a mixed drink must be placed no later than the hour on which the establishment is licensed to sell alcohol, or 12 a.m., whichever time is earlier provided. That a transaction must include at least one item of food prepared on-site sufficient to serve one individual. 6, a customer is limited to 64 fluid ounces of mixed drinks per transaction, consistent with number 5 above. 7, if the mixed drink is in a sealed container to be transported by a vehicle, either by delivery or pickup, the driver of the motor vehicle must transport the mixed drinks in the trunk of the motor vehicle or an area that is not considered the passenger area, as defined by Section 241 of Chapter 90. And last, number 8, the volume of distilled spirits, cordials, liqueurs, wines, malt beverages, and mixers contained in a mixed drink must be of the same proportion and same price if served for on-premise consumption. And we have another another communication from the ABCC amending to add outdoor alcoholic table service areas. This one I have not read. ABC approval is no longer required for amendments to add outdoor alcoholic beverage table service areas. Licensees should contact their local licensing authority with any questions and apply directly with them. Nothing in the new law prevents the ABCC from exercising its enforcement authority over an amended license, nor limit any appeals that can be submitted to the Commission pursuant to Section 67 of Chapter 138. Local boards must provide the ABCC notice of the amended license and can do so by submitting an updated licensing authority certification form describing the entire licensed premise, including but not limited to the new approved outdoor alcoholic beverage table service area. The city still has not decided on this yet, okay? And then the last is the ABCC outdoor dining area guidelines. On April 7, 2022, at a public hearing, the ABCC approved guidelines for outdoor alcoholic beverage service areas. These guidelines went into effect immediately. A copy of the guidelines is attached and can be found on the ABCC website at www.mass.gov/ABCC. As always, all licensees must ensure that they comply with the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and that sales of alcohol beverages take place only as authorized by federal, state, and local laws. Any questions that you should be directed to the ABCC Executive Director Ralph Sacamone at rsacamone@tre.state.ma.us. That's it. Oh, and I also have 2 late communications that came before me. It's right here.
So is that, did you have to make a motion?
No, this is
No?
the
Okay.
late communications that came
Okay.
during working hours. This letter is to support Ponte Wancho staying open until 1 a.m. As a downtown resident who can see Ponte Wancho from their apartment, I have not experienced any noise or any issues from their business. I'm also a customer. Additionally, I have produced 2 Spanish language comedy shows at Ponte Wancho, which are free for their customers. Juan and Diego have been supportive and appreciate the shows. Their restaurant is a nice addition to the downtown area. The next one is the Las Vegas restaurant noise complaint. The music levels at Las Vegas restaurant are really loud, but apparently they are abiding by the noise limit. Tu Casa, Ponte Wancho, and El Corral all have recorded music playing, but when the doors are closed, you cannot hear it from the street. When the doors are closed at Las Vegas restaurant and my windows are closed, I can sometimes hear the lyrics to the songs that Las Vegas is playing. Then their customers are going in and out, and it sounds like the sound system is in the street. Councilor Manuel Tesh has spoken with them, and I recently put in a noise complaint with the Chelsea Police. Is there anything that can be done? That's it.
Thank you.
That's how she ended.
Is that all communication?
That's all the communications.
Okay. Thank you. So before we get going on the rest of the agenda is fairly long tonight, so we're going to try to keep this moving. When anybody does come and speak before us this evening, please make sure that you step up to the microphone. You provide your name and reason for being before us this evening. And if multiple people do step up to the microphone for one group, please, each person before you speak into the microphone, so that way all of my fellow commissioners and the police department, we can hear you clearly, as well as everyone who may be watching on our local cable or via the social media feeds. So appreciate that, so we don't have to ask you to repeat yourself. That being said, we will move right along. First on the agenda this evening, we have a conference as to the status of a retail marijuana establishment license for GVLP Corp. DBA Vida Verde at 320 Revere Beach Parkway in Chelsea, Mass. Is there anyone here this evening to speak on their behalf? I don't see anyone.
What are we going to do?
Any communication from them?
I did not receive anything. I saw her Tuesday, and I asked her if she was coming, and she said she was.
Well, maybe she'll, if she's late, we can circle back.
Can I get a motion to push this to the end of the meeting and revisit? And a second?
Yeah, second.
Thank you. Moving right along to number 2, we have a public hearing to consider a change of hours of an amusement and entertainment license for Aguilar Corp. DBA Bar La Cueva at 802 Broadway, Chelsea, Mass.
Good evening, Attorney Jeffrey Rosario Turco on behalf of the applicant, 378 Broadway, Chelsea, Mass. is my office.
Thank you.
Manuel Aguilar, the owner.
As you recall, Madam Chairman, members of the board, at our last meeting, we filed an application to change the hours of the liquor license. Commission was kind enough to agree to most of our requests. At that point, it was pointed out that we didn't simultaneously file to amend the entertainment license hours to match the liquor license hours, and so it was said that we would file and come back here at this meeting, and that's what the point of tonight's meeting is, just to make sure that the entertainment license matches up. I'm happy to report, I did see a communication from the Officer Santiago to the commission, but I'm happy to report that one of the speakers, I'm told there have been no complaints from the neighbors to noise. One of the speakers was removed, and the other speakers were turned, as we said they would be, away from the back of the building to make sure that the woman that lives behind the property, her concerns were accommodated. Mr. Aguilar hasn't heard from her, but there was, if you remember, there was a sort of younger woman that was here at the last meeting saying she was speaking for her. He has spoken to her and said she had no further complaint. I don't want to speak for her, but the representation was made. There have been no complaints from the direct abutter. So he has been cognizant of that, and if and when we need to, we'll address the Officer Santiago's report at whatever forum you deem appropriate. But at this point, I would ask you to, for the sake of consistency of hours, ask you to grant the petition to amend the entertainment license.
One of the questions that I would have is, in reviewing that application that you submitted, in completing that, it's a statement that you're just looking to request those hours and that there's been no other changes?
Correct.
However, there are changes. When you go through and you review what has been marked off in the entertainment aspect, the current license does not permit any dancing. And in what was completed on this new form, it is checked off that there would be dancing by patrons and by entertainers or performers.
Okay.
So that is a change from the license.
We didn't request a change, and so let me clarify that for you, and thank you for bringing that up. So I contacted your administrative aide to say I could not get access to the online form. Naomi was kind enough to, I said, all we're looking to do is change the hours, keep exactly what we have in the existing entertainment license. The city, somebody in the office filled that form out for us because I could not have electronic access to it. This form here, I have an email saying this form here we did not fill out. We couldn't fill it out. I didn't have access to it at the time. So all we're looking for is exactly what's on the existing entertainment license is what we're looking for, except for the hours. Okay. So if dancing was checked, it was checked in error by somebody there or whether it was somebody from my end. But if you remember, there was an issue, Naomi, with me getting access to the form. So, but we're not looking for dancing. We're simply looking for exactly what we had on the existing license plus in the hours. Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you. Questions from my fellow commissioners?
I have a question, and it's public and it's on social media that you have talked to your neighbors that you want to sell the bar. So I'm just curious because they're city councilors and school committee members, so it's like not, just random neighbors that you've told this to. So I'm just curious, it doesn't affect like the vote on the license, but I'm curious if you are selling, because it's pretty publicly out there that you're looking to sell.
Yes, I did. If there's any buyer, the place on sale.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
But until he finds a buyer at the right price, then obviously, he wants to he's been going at this for quite a long time, as you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is your bar set up for dancing, since you do have the entertainment?
No.
Okay.
And again, to the extent that's checked, I would verbally move to strike that from the request and say, we're simply looking for what's on the existing entertainment license, which is jukebox, TV, karaoke, disc jockey, and the hours change.
So part of where that was a red flag for me was in the communication from the police department. We are on the same subject, same location, correct?
Yes.
Which we'll get to the police department in a moment to have them chime in on this. But in that communication, there is clear statements that there was dancing taking place in the establishment. There is a statement in this that Manuel stated that he didn't know dancing wasn't allowed in the bar. And Officer Santiago reminded him that he had recently been there for an inspection and had that conversation, that dancing and disco lights are not permitted. So to then see it checked off on the application, it all just seems like you're trying to get away with something that the city has already said no to.
Well, no, because, we wouldn't be trying to get away with anything. We'd simply ask you for, if we wanted dancing, we would have asked you for it. And so.
But if it's been taking place in the bar already.
Well, again, there'll be a hearing presumably at some point where I'll be able to, examine Officer Santiago about his report and bring the video up here. But to the extent there was dancing, it was inappropriate. He's made it clear to his patrons that, that they can't do that. and the lights that were referenced in the report. The first time I saw the report was when I saw the agenda of the commission today. I emailed Naomi and said, can you send me the communication that refer to the two different matters that I have on tonight, numbers 2 and 6? And she kindly, and thank you, sent them along to me. That's the first time I was aware of the report. And so, but it's been made clear to people right after that incident that dancing is not allowed. You've heard that my client has an interest in selling the place. He's looking to keep the peace with the neighbors until he finds a buyer and gets, and happily extricates himself from this venture.
Other questions from my fellow commissioners? From the police department.
Last meeting, we did talk about the cameras. We set up 2 cameras in the back. One outside by the door on the fire and the egress, and one in the, right before the bathrooms. So it's outside the bathrooms, it shows towards the door. The cameras were installed?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then I spoke to you about the office where it needs to be cleaned out with the monitor. You have to climb over things just to get to that monitor. Has that been cleaned out?
We already cleaned.
It's all cleaned out?
There's no 100%, but because we don't have enough room there,
Yeah.
we took everything we can.
That's been like that prior to other owners as well. I'm just letting you know that that has to get done. If
Okay.
not, ISD has already been notified about that. It's dangerous,
I
okay?
understand.
So, the next person that takes it over can hopefully clear that out.
Thank you.
In regards to the extension of the music and entertainment license to match the liquor license that we approved last month, is there any feedback from the police department?
Aside from what he's inspected thus far, other than that,
Since that incident, nothing, it's been somewhat quiet from there, so.
Perfect. Is there anyone from the,
Video?
oh, what?
Video? No video?
Would that, is that in reference to,
Isn't that Balak Web?
was this for,
Yeah, the video from
Or-
La Cueva.
did you want to play that for us at this point?
If we're ready, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just bear with me with a little bit. So this takes place on April 5th, 8:45 p.m. It was a Friday night. I got a call for a PC to arrest a subject out of Danvers for an A&B domestic. So I was in the area with other units. I was on the Broadway area. As I'm going up the Broadway area, I'm passing the bar and I can hear the loud music and I can also see the lights. We couldn't find the suspect. I stopped. I called off and advised Chelsea Control that I was going to be doing a license inspection because I could hear the music and I could see the lights strobing. So this is prior before me coming in. I'll stop playing here a little bit. You can see on your right side of the corner here in the video, you can see the female bartender, which you'll see again, dancing with the male subject there. She probably dancing for about almost 2 minutes. The video is going to keep playing throughout the instance as I put it into the report there. As you can see the lights going on, you can see them outside in the windows, everything. There's the speaker there that they were just talking about, that they removed the speaker. I think you guys said that you guys removed that speaker. But as you can see, the bartender, not bartending, she's dancing. There's other females here, also waitresses. Allegedly, I don't know if they were working at night, but it looks like they were. Just hanging out with guys, and they weren't drinking, but the bartender, you'll see in a little bit, she was taking shots through the night. Move a little bit forward.
Officer Santiago, did you say that the bartender was taking shots through the night?
Yes. The video goes on and on and on. You'll see her at some point. She's going to be coming over. Gentleman takes a seat here. Let's see if I can fast forward this. You'll just see more dancing. There's the manager. Still dancing. She sees what's going on. She finds herself dancing. The other waitress there, she's dancing. And the bartender's back to bartending. In a short, probably within the next 30, 40 seconds, you'll see me come in. I have to keep moving the mouse, if not, the screen will shut off on us. She comes in. She's talking to this gentleman throughout the night. She sets him up for drinks and stuff. Yep, so the door opens up, I'm talking with security. I come in, she sees me, she takes the shot, she fakes it, then she takes the glass, puts it right away. She knows I see her taking the shot, dancing. Manuel sitting there doesn't have a whistle to get his attention. And then I explain to him what's going on. Lights are going on, music is blaring loud, dancing. I ask him to step outside and we talk about it. So, throughout the night, you see the lights turn off, so he did tell, shut the lights off. It's 8:55, I'm still outside. So he has 1, 2, 3, I counted about 6 girls working that evening. And they're all working the tables, talking to the gentleman, providing them the beer or any drinks and stuff. The other part is the touching, where the male patrons are grabbing the hostess and stuff like that as well, as you can see on some of them here. There she is. Sucks in the lime, she takes another shot. Does another shot here, find the manager again. This is at 9:27.
And you said that the woman in that blazer is the manager?
Yes.
So she's doing,
that's
she's doing
Manuel's-
shots right next to the manager?
Right. That is, I believe, Manuel's girlfriend. So, I can go on and on and on. I mean, throughout the night, at some point, they close early with what they're supposed to be doing. Everyone gets out. Other than that, I drove by a couple of times. The music was lowered down. The lights were shut off. We got no complaints that night of anyone intoxicated or of anyone either put in place to protective custody, so there was no over-serving from that area. So, as you can read the report, what it says here, there is the violations there under the licensing. You go to page 2 of my report. It's in the city ordinances there under 2.08 alcohol beverage sales and laws, under 2.09 B as in Bravo, page 18, where it strictly says here, staff drinking alcohol while on duty, no staff person or licensed shall drink alcohol, beer, or wine while on duty. Entertaining purposes, again, 2.11, which serve food, beverages consumed on premises pages. And it just goes down here about the entertainment of outside of the boundaries. It talks about the dancing, no dancing. So, and that's pretty much it.
Can I just ask for clarification on the lights? What is that?
So, under the permit, the lighting, so you call them disco lights and permits, it's not on their permit.
Okay.
So, then it's a bar. So the lights do, it makes it look like you're more than just a bar. So that, I mean, that's going out throughout the city. It's always been a problem with the lights. I get it, if the lights were on strobe, if just a solid light, like some places, it's fine. But once they stop strobing, and you can see the glare coming out, you're not just promoting a bar. A bar is somewhere you can sit down and have a drink, have a conversation with someone where the music is not blaring behind you. Or you can have an appetizer, somewhere you can decompress after work or just to hang out with a friend to catch up and have a conversation. Disco lights are meant to be in a club, you know, so.
Appreciate that clarification. Thank you, Officer Santiago. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Seeing no one. My thoughts, and then I'll ask for my fellow commissioners. Based upon the video that was presented to us today, I would ask that we move for a disciplinary hearing at our next meeting, and the change of their entertainment license be pushed out in accordance with that disciplinary hearing. I don't feel right making a decision on an entertainment license at this point when our police department has brought this to our attention. I feel that those kind of go hand in hand, particularly since the matters that the police department brought forward to us today are all related to an entertainment license. Thoughts from my fellow commissioners?
I just have a quick question. Is food served at your bar?
Appetizers.
Appetizers? Okay. And then you're aware that you already had noise complaints before, and you still had noise complaints even on that day?
Respectfully, we haven't had noise complaints. Even Officer Santiago testified or stated to you that he hasn't received any complaints from any neighbors. This is a report that I haven't seen the report. I just saw the initial report that was filed that night. I haven't seen the report he was just referencing to. It's not before us tonight, and thank you for acknowledging that. But he said there's been no complaints from neighbors. It was Officer Santiago, while in pursuit of a violent criminal, stopped to listen to
I didn't say noise
noise.
complaint by the neighbor, because the reason you stopped by is because you heard the noise outside the bar, correct?
Correct, ma'am.
So the officer investigated because of the noise outside the bar, correct?
Well, we'll have that discussion at the next meeting. yes.
Okay. So that was just my question. So you're aware that you already have noise complaints prior? Yes?
We'll address the noise complaint issue at the next meeting.
Okay.
Other commentary from my fellow commissioners?
I just want to ask,
Yes.
These two ladies that were dancing there, are they new working there? Maybe they didn't know that they should be dancing in that place?
The bartender who was drinking behind the bar, she's not working there anymore.
She was
And
fired.
She was fired. And the two girls were
Can
dancing.
I just interrupt for one quick second? I feel that these conversations should be taking place at our next meeting when
Yeah.
we're addressing the disciplinary hearing, rather than tonight, to give them a chance to review everything that was discussed today. And then we would have a full disciplinary hearing at our, what month are we in? At our June meeting. That is where we would then go into the specific details regarding what Officer Santiago has brought to our attention today.
Okay, regarding the noise, I think last time you were here, we talked about the loud music, and you guys said that we're gonna take the speaker down and put a smaller speaker, and I guess what Officer Santiago said, I guess the music was very loud. According to what Officer Santiago said. Do you guys change the speaker?
We
when-
disconnect one speaker, we only use one.
And the speaker was turned away from the concern that was, the specific concern was
The house,
the elderly woman
yeah.
behind. So one of the speakers was disabled, and the other speaker was sort of turned more to direct noise away from the back, which is what we thought we were trying to accomplish here. You know, in that, so you're directing noise away from a residential area into the Broadway Chelsea.
Can you confirm if that speaker change was made prior to the incident that was brought up today?
When were we here last?
Okay. So that speaker, the day of the incident, that speaker was there.
Okay, so,
It was so they just said that they disconnected. So the day after the incident, it's been
So,
disconnected.
so potentially, the music would be quieter moving forward because they've removed a speaker since that incident, which helps with the issue that we discussed last month regarding the neighbor and the complaint of the noise in the back.
Right.
That change has taken place since Officer Santiago's visit,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on because my questions was related to the request of change of hours. But now I feel like we definitely need to move on to the disciplinary area.
So can one of my fellow commissioners make a motion for a disciplinary hearing, a disciplinary hearing for Bar La Cueva at our meeting next month?
Motion.
And a second? And in addition to that, a motion to to continue, use the proper terms, to continue the public hearing to consider a change of hours of the amusement and entertainment license to follow that public disciplinary hearing.
A motion.
In a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you know what that June date is?
June 13th.
June 13th.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I'd like to make a motion to go out of order. That way we can have Attorney Turco attend to all of the matters on our agenda tonight while he is still in front of us. So if we could get a motion to jump to number 6.
Motion.
And a second? So we'll move right down to number 6, public hearing to consider a new wine and malt beverage on-premise consumption license application for Como en Casa Incorporated, DBA Como en Casa at 107 to 109 Shirtlift Street in Chelsea, Mass.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Attorney Jeffrey Rosario Turco for the Movement, 378 Broadway, Chelsea, Mass. I submitted a couple hours before your meeting that my client would like to withdraw this application.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All set?
All set?
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Number 3 on our agenda this evening, we have a public hearing to consider an alteration of premises of a wine and malt beverage on-premise consumption license application for Chow Pizza and Pasta, LLC, DBA Chow Pizza and Pasta at 59 Williams Street in Chelsea, Mass. If you could step up.
Good evening. My name is Edson Coimbra. I'm here representing Chow Pizza and Pasta on 59 William Street here in Chelsea. I'm here to ask for approval of an alteration to continue to serve beer and wine on our sidewalk seating.
Thank you. So to confirm, you're looking to continue what you've been doing
For the past
since COVID?
Correct. Correct.
So just so we're all on the same page, and please correct me if I'm incorrect with what I'm saying, but the state had been allowing establishments to serve outside of their perimeters, which is the perimeter of your property is noted on your license. So the ABCC and the state had been permitting an extension of that space during COVID, and that is no longer being continued, as thankfully we are past those times where those restrictions were in place. So now, venues that are looking to continue serving in those areas that they have been for the last few years have to come before the city to ask for a change to their premises to include those spaces. And then moving forward, that would automatically be a part of their license in future years when they come up for their annual renewals. Did I get that all correct?
Correct.
All right. Any questions from my fellow commissioners regarding their request?
Not for the request, but Didn't you just read about,
Right, but we just got that communication.
got it.
So it hasn't been,
I don't have any questions then, except for that.
I have a question regarding serving alcohol outside on the sidewalk. Is that going to be the whole year or just during the summer?
Seasonally,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's like the patio, like you're at the patio, you have your food, and you ask for a drink, the outdoor patio. So seasonal,
Okay.
when it's warm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Naomi?
Now, you mentioned that they've been doing it all along, but didn't you have the outdoor right on William Street?
It's always
So
been,
what are you doing? Are you still doing it that way, or you still, is it?
nothing has changed. Everything is still the same.
So
Since we
it's,
started.
so you want that sidewalk section
Right,
of William Street,
correct. There's no physical change or anything.
not near their patio? It's right in front of their establishment.
Yeah.
That was my clarification. Why am I looking at yours? I'm not gonna look at mine.
Is the sidewalk public space of the
course.
city?
Yes.
But you already.
It's like a built-on, I mean, the patio is, they built out like a wooden, like, whole thing, so it's, like, very enclosed, like, it's not just like tables on a sidewalk, like, it's kind of in the, partly in the street and partly in the part of the sidewalk. They built out like a little patio area. It's like 3 tables, it's not a lot of space. But it's there all year, but people don't sit out there unless it's obviously nice out.
So the question that I have, based upon what Naomi said, is that area owned by the landlord, or is it owned by the city?
The city.
The city, sidewalk is city.
Like a
So-
lot of the restaurants have those patios that aren't, they're on the city property, they're not private property. So all the restaurants on that, especially on that street, are all city property.
And-
My comment was, I would imagine you will have that already approved by the city, and it's ADA compliant, so it's, I feel like it's already been approved for that, the construction, about the request.
Is there any issues, Peter, with that being a city sidewalk moving forward, to continue to allow that, or based upon, because you can alter your premises that you own, but altering premises that are not your property.
So that's what the function of this committee is. There always was in place some type of municipal approval that always needed to come when there was a business or whomever wanted to use public space. Same as just about any license you can think of. But what this is now is that the licensing board needs to approve of whatever it is the plan that the applicant is looking for. So, as far as building regulations and access to the sidewalk, I would defer to the inspection services director about that. But no, the process that's been in place isn't too much different than the one we're dealing with right now. It's just a matter, this is the board that has discretion to approve or disapprove whatever's going on. So if the board is happy with what they've seen and what the applicant has done, then they have the discretion to approve it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any other questions from my fellow commissioners, or Mike, on speaking on behalf of ISD, any issues or concerns?
No, so every year we inspect, every year they get the license. Now, DPW, my office, we approve it. I think we're only really here about the alcohol, to sell the alcohol on the street, nothing else.
Okay.
It's approved to, they already have permission from the city to use the space.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of them using the space for the use of alcohol.
Perfect. Any commentary from the police department?
When do you plan on serving outside?
11 a.m. to 10 p.m. So nothing has changed.
All right, my understanding is you have lighting there? My understanding is you have lighting there? Okay, so that,
Excuse me, Edison, if you could just step up
Yeah,
to
of
the,
course, yeah.
thank you.
obviously that's our concern. I know it's not a wide space because it's kind of just the side of where a tree would go, a small tree would go, so I'm familiar with it. It's just I would be concerned at nighttime. You know, the lighting needs to be adequate, especially it being on William Street. A lot of traffic goes there, and I don't want, you know, your customers getting struck.
Sure.
Because then, you know, there's a lot of that's a truck route, so, as you know. So I would just make sure the lighting's good.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Seeing no one, can I get a motion to approve the alteration of premises of a wine and malt beverage on-premise consumption license for Chow Pizza and Pasta?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And next on the agenda this evening, we have a public hearing to consider a change of hours for an all kinds of alcohol beverages on-premise consumption license application and change of hours of an amusement and entertainment license for Preciado Brothers LLC, DBA Ponde Juancho at 400 to 406 Broadway in Chelsea, Mass.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how
Good
are you?
afternoon. Good night, good afternoon. My name is Shelly Canales. I'm the manager from Ponde Juancho.
Hello, my name is Diego Preciado, and I'm one of the workers of that on the Juancho restaurant.
Good evening, how you doing? And my name is Juan Preciado. I'm brother Diego.
Thank you. So can you tell us a bit about what you're asking from us today?
Okay, my proposal is going to change the hour. Now to 10. I'm going to close the service to 10 p.m. and I want to increase the hour to 1 a.m. in the morning and a.m. And they're going to change the entertainment license. So the TV, the radio, and which one do it? Yeah, TV, radio. They're going to screen. For the show with the games. And the most important is for the change of the hours, it's possible again, because all the customers is really happy about that place. It's very comfortable, and I want to give you more funny time for my customers.
And so you're requesting to go to 1 a.m. 7 days a week?
Yes, correct.
And how late is food served?
Yes, correct.
How late?
I can add regular menu to 10 p.m. And I'm gonna increase like 12:30. Gonna increase the food, but the no regular food is gonna dessert appetizers.
And how late will those items go till?
How they go?
So if the small menu that you're going to do for later,
Yeah.
what time will you serve that until?
To 12.
Until 12.
So to 12, 2:30.
And you noted a projection screen
Yes,
for
correct.
the games.
Yes.
Where is that screen located?
Right now, when I open the place, I put it right on the window. But I received a notification you can block the windows with any publicity or something like that. So I'm gonna remove one of the sides of the walls. That screen with a projector.
That's exactly why I asked, because I've seen pictures online
Yes.
where you're
What is
blocking
the
your windows with that screen.
Mhm.
And so one of the other questions before I open it up to my fellow commissioners, you noted in your letter that one of the reasons that you are looking to extend your hours is because you want them to be able to, you want to continue to be able to feed your guests. So what time is your menu currently stopping?
right now, my menu, they stop in like at 10.
So you're not really, excuse me, you're not really extending your menu. You're just having a couple of items.
Yeah, because but the whole menu is, I'm gonna increase more employers in the kitchen. So my idea is gonna keep 1 or 2 employers and reduce the menu like at 7 or 10 items, 8 or 10 items for my menu. In that way, I can work with our customers.
Thank you. Fellow commissioners, initial questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Your entertainment ends at 10 as well, too? What entertainment do you provide? Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
Don't worry. No, the entertainment, like the music.
This
because,
music?
Yeah, I got a computer ready and speakers around, but I can use the rest of the night. So my idea is going to put music and the videos and a screen.
Okay, and your neighbors were good?
Yes.
Because you're located in a good spot, too.
And also, I got a really good relation with the neighbors and my clients, my customers. So I'm really happy about with that location. That not happy when I say 9:30, I have to close, I got the lights on. So what happens? So every single day, I got no complaints, but my customers is not happy with say it's too early for me.
Is this your only business?
No, I have another location around.
And have you done late night before?
It's not the same issue. I got a license for the 1 a.m.
Okay.
And I got a liquor license for a couple of locations. And this is my the first one in Chelsea. So
Okay.
my customers follow me everywhere when my brother's going. So the most thing is people happy at the moment.
And you also serve a small menu?
A small menu.
Before.
And I got, in one of the places, I got a full menu to 12. And another location, I got a small menu to 12 too. So I'm gonna keep the same working ideas with another location.
So you have experience
Yes,
prior?
correct, yes.
Okay. All right. Questions? Thank you.
Other commissioners, initial questions?
Just, we want this to continue to be a restaurant, not a bar. So when you change the menu, when you don't have a full menu, it's like a change. It's practically a change in use. That's the problem.
No, my idea is I don't want to change the idea and the restaurant ideas. So I have a video with Mr. Santiago, and they told me and explained me everything about the lights, about the music, and everything about the radio. And I want to do whatever you guys want to continue with the same ideas. I don't want to change nothing if you guys don't agree.
On that subject, I have seen posts on social media from your company posting where you're essentially advertising. And it's been a little while, so maybe this is no longer happening and it has been addressed. But I have seen social media posts where there's dancing and strobe lights, and when you're asking to go until 1 a.m., that's a lot of the time the sort of atmosphere that people would be looking to have, which is not what your license pertains to, whether it ends at 10 p.m. or 1 a.m. So I just want to make sure that we're following the rules of our license. And in one of the late communications that was read in by Naomi earlier, there's also reference to having some comedy shows, which is great. We love having those things in our community, but in order to have those items, you need to request a one-day license from the city for those things, unless you have a license that is allowing this as part of your regular piece of business. So if that is not something that is noted on your license of having entertainment like that, you need to contact the city in advance of anything like that. Any sort of a show that you want to put on, you contact the licensing department and request a one-day license.
Okay.
And that way you're always in compliance and you won't end up having any issues.
Quick question. How many days prior to the events should we check with you guys
So
to get permission?
you should be requesting a one-day license 45 days in advance.
45 days.
Mhm. And again, you do that directly through the licensing department.
Online.
Commentary from the police department. Have we had any issues or concerns with this location?
Not,
So prior to this coming, I met with Diego. Naomi reached out to me to do an inspection because it's been a while since we did it. So I sat down with Diego. I think we sat down for like an hour. We broke down everything. He's new owner and stuff, how things are done in Chelsea. Right off the bat, I mean, the place is phenomenal. The place is very clean from a lot of places I've seen. I walked into the basement. Everything is organized, very well clean. He brought me right to the office. He knew exactly what I was going to ask him about the cameras. He had a nice big screen. Everything is up to date. The only thing, he had to get more room in the computer so he could hold more video more time, which he did that right away. And he called me, actually, told me, hey, come by and check it out. This is a new system. I told him that if he's not there, somebody else has got to know how to run the system, so we broke that down. Then we went upstairs. We spoke about the speakers. He has small speakers, not loud at all. He does run music through a computer. The lights, his lights do flash, but he likes the solid lights, which we talked about earlier. Nothing crazy, just to light up the bar area. I went behind the bar. Everything is organized, labeled, the menu's up to date, everything is very clean. They take a lot of pride in what they're doing there. I know they started off as a bakery, and they're expanding, which is awesome, is what we want, but you also want places like this to understand, like, you can't go online and start promoting that you're gonna be a dance place, as you can tell what we had before. You just can't. The city can't afford that. We have enough issues on the street already. Officers are getting drained out from going to these calls all the time. With that being said, he's been up to par. Any questions he has, he calls me first. And he asks me, hey, is this okay, this okay? So what I done with him, I think we told him to get a red binder. And in that binder, it's gonna have all his employees that works there, who's tip certified, the current copy of the rules and regulations, copies of his, all the licenses and stuff, so when we come and do inspections, myself, Officer McLaughlin, or Sergeant Chung, he already knows when to pull it out and just give it out. And the officers will check it and stuff like that. That's something that we've been trying to implement through the licensing unit. Every time, I know when me and Nicole go out, the bars and the restaurants and the hotels know that when we come, that's the first thing we're gonna ask. We wanna make sure everything is up to date. So Diego's been really on top of his game on that stuff. But there hasn't been no complaints. I've seen the stuff on social media. I think it's a little exaggerated. I've gone drive-by on my Friday nights. I've gone drive-by when they closed. I work some shifts overnights on parking and stuff, and there hasn't been no problem at all. So I think he knows now that these are the rules, so that's about it.
I've got one thing. I wanted to piggyback off of Madam Chairwoman. That projector you have on your layout, okay? If you put it completely in front of the window, it's gonna block your space, and we need to be able to see through your restaurant, okay? So you gotta look at it, figure it out, because then it's almost as if you're covering by putting something on the window, okay? So the point is, we gotta be able to see through it, okay? It's not just because we're nosy or anything like that, but it's for your safety, okay? We gotta be able to see if there's an issue going on, or if you're in distress or something. We'd like to be able to see that, especially the officers that are on the walking beats and doing the impact patrols or just driving by, right? So, thank you. Good luck.
I have a question. Instead of the projectors, why don't you just get bigger TVs? It's for football, right? For soccer? I mean, I don't think where you're gonna put that projector at, on the wall, it's too big. You're better off just putting a bigger TV on that wall. And I mean, that's what you told me you wanted to have for football games and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Some UFC stuff, whatever. I think that's your best chance. Because if you put that projector there and it shines that way, it's gonna shine into the street.
You're gonna close it.
So the only thing there is you need to make sure that the license is accurate because the license depicts the number of televisions that you are permitted to have inside of the space.
The category is TVs. They can have 10 TVs.
Doesn't it have a number?
I thought I saw a number, it said 4.
Each category is $150.
Okay.
So they can have as many TVs.
It used to be amount of TVs. I remember like Floramos had to come up because of a police inspection. They found more TVs than was on the license.
Yeah,
It's come up before.
there is, it had to do with the number. I know that in the past, that it was important, the number of televisions had to be noted.
I didn't check that out, but
Just so if you are going to make that switch, just make sure that that is relayed, because even on this application, it states that there's 4. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Seeing no one.
I just have, I know I spoke to, I don't know if it was Diego or Juan, but I did speak to one of you about the projector, and I told you not, it could not be blocking the window. Is it still there?
Oh, they're still there, but it's not working. Nobody uses it.
Yes.
Excuse me. You know, you see it's couple different numbers, so it's connecting door, bakery to bar. So my idea is move the screen to the big door, it's close nighttime, and use the screen to see the games or something. It's no block to the street, no everybody see.
What door, though? Because you can't block a point of egress.
It's like this, it's 402, 404, but the
They have
bakery is separate, yeah.
The second,
It's a moving door.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
moving
have
door.
a big door in the middle of
Like
the
this.
building.
It has nothing to do with.
Yeah, big door.
it's not to the outside.
Oh, is it blocking people from being able to leave in the event of an emergency?
No,
No,
Because you
there's
can't
2
block.
doors.
Yeah.
because they have separate
Door.
It's
exits.
on the side of the building, not on the
They have doors on each side of the, like there's a
That's
bakery door and a restaurant door. So they're talking about the middle plate, like where people, you can go from the bakery to the restaurant inside. That's where they're putting the screen. So people could leave the restaurant and the doors, but that's not what they're talking about.
And so by blocking that, there's still, because you need 2 points of egress in an establishment. So if you block that, is there still 2
2
ways
doors,
out?
yeah.
Or is there an exit sign that is lit up near where you're talking about blocking? Because if there is, you can't put anything in front of it.
Each location, they have 2 egress, front and back of the site, and they have a connection door.
Yep.
They don't block like any exits or doors.
And at that spot that opens between the 2 places, are there any lit up exit signs like that?
Not yet, but I can put it.
No, if there is.
No, there's not.
No, there's not.
If there is, you can't put anything there.
No, they don't.
Because then you're not in compliance
Yeah,
with,
just in the front.
Yeah.
with the building
It's not,
inspections.
it's like in the middle of the restaurant, basically.
Right,
there's
which I
no-
get, but
yeah.
depending upon how the
Yeah.
building inspector has put things, you could have one of those at that door.
Yeah.
And if there is one of those at that door, you can't block that door. I only
It's
know
not
this
really a
because I've,
door. Yeah.
right. But
I
it,
hear
it
you.
all depends upon what the building
Yeah.
inspector did, because they require you to put exit signs in any locations that they feel that people would be trying to get out. So if there's an exit sign, it is, and I know this because I've had to do this for places before.
Yeah.
You can't put anything in front of an area that has one of those lit up exit signs. Or the next time that the building inspector comes through your property, you're gonna have a problem. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want you to move it over there. So if there's nothing that is marking that as an exit, then I don't see any issues. If it is just between the 2 spaces and the other space isn't open. But check for that before you put anything in front of it, just so you don't get in trouble with somebody else.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
You mentioned upstairs, is that available to the public or it's just,
Sorry?
Or your space? You said you went upstairs?
No, downstairs.
Oh, downstairs?
Downstairs, no,
Oh.
it's where their storage area.
Oh, okay,
and stuff.
storage.
Yeah, so, that's part of my inspection too.
Okay,
It's when we go downstairs and see where they store the beer and then,
gotcha.
liquor and stuff like that. Just, everything's
hold
just
it.
well organized down there. And
Okay.
that's probably, so, that was.
And then my other question is that some places, when they extend their hours, they have security, but I'm not sure that's part of the license.
We have
I mean,
security already.
yeah, I mean, this is a bakery slash restaurant, and my thing is always like, why do you need a security guard
Okay,
if you're running a restaurant,
okay.
right?
But because
Why-
of the
I don't
music?
understand, I know, I don't understand that theory.
Okay,
If I'm a business owner, if me and Nicole are business partners, and we're running a bakery, then we have a restaurant serving food, yeah, we're serving beer and wine, some liquor and stuff like that, but we're a restaurant. Yeah, we have music playing. Why do I need a security?
okay.
And a lot of places here have it, which I don't understand. They claim they're restaurants, but then we get the
But
complaints
that's
about
what I was
loud noises,
asking.
we get
yeah.
the fights, we get the arguing, we get the laser lights going, and then you have security. I'm like, I don't understand. If you're a restaurant, why do you need security?
Okay,
You know what I mean?
well, thanks for clarifying that. All right, I'm good.
I have a question.
Yes.
My only issue is that there's so many bars around there, and they're gonna close at 12, the food area, and they're gonna still serving beer and wine after 1 o'clock. And I don't know, it's just a comment that I have an issue for that.
Yeah, I think
Being few bars around there.
yeah,
Some of them
most
close
restaurants,
at
yeah.
11, and I don't know how many others close at 1.
How many, yeah, it's a good question. How many around there close after midnight? Because there's the Vegas bar, right?
about
It's
like-
next door.
To Casa right across.
Is it quite
You got,
that full?
you got Tucasa across the street. You have Las Vegas. You have El Corral.
El Corral,
Right next door from them.
Chelsea Walk Pub.
You got yep. So
Still?
that's 4. That's not even within
They're
25,
like-
30 feet.
Los
Yeah.
Then
Cerritos.
you still have the liquor stores.
And they all
what I mean?
close at, what time do those bars? They're all different?
Yeah, like some of them are, like Tucasa's probably the latest one, but they're constantly serving food there. So,
Yeah.
Las Vegas usually closes about 11. El Corral pretty much stays kind of open a little late, but we haven't, knock on wood, we haven't had any issues with them. Again, they promote their restaurant and they have security there, but it's, I don't know. I understand what Enio's saying. I agree with him. There's a lot of bars in one area within not even, 40 feet, and they're all open late. So,
Yeah.
So I think that really kind of the topic at this point would be, do we want to extend it until 1 a.m. every night? They're currently closing at 10 p.m. every night. So do we want it at 1 a.m. every night, or do we want some nights earlier than that,
Yeah.
but maybe give them a little bit past 10? Thoughts?
Whatever it is, I'd like them to serve food to the end. A full
Yeah.
menu. It's got to still continue to be a restaurant, not a bar.
Yeah.
My initial thought first was that since this is new in Chelsea, how you're going to manage that change. But it seems like from your previous businesses, you do have that experience. So I would like to have them to do it every day and just check on them, maybe.
Or even, because I mean, my son's birthday party cake comes from your restaurant. Like, I really love, and I love the addition to Chelsea that you guys are there. But I wonder if it's maybe like Thursday through Saturday can be 1 a.m. and then like Monday through, I just wonder if we can do like days of the week at like midnight or, just like 1 a.m. to every night feels late. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not cool, but that just feels, 1 a.m. feels late for every day of the week, I guess, is my only thing. Midnight feels a little bit less.
I think I agree with her that we should give probably Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
You want to do Sunday until 1 in the morning as well?
Well, Tucasa is open to 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Las Vegas closed at 11
Yeah.
because they had some issues before,
Mhm.
and I don't think why not, allow them. But like Commissioner McAtee said, they should serve food until they close. Because if that closed the kitchen before, was that mean people just gonna be drinking there? And like I said, we have enough bars around there.
So in stating that you would like them to serve food until they close, if it's a night that they're open until 1 a.m., do you want food until 1 a.m.? Or were you okay with his statement earlier that food would go until 12 p.m.?
Yeah, because I think because I used to waitress, so the kitchen you can't order food at like 1 a.m. because in the kitchen, you know what I mean? So I think if you close the kitchen at midnight, you would hope that people would be out of there by 1. They're eating and then they are out. So I think midnight kitchen close for a 1 a.m. close of the bar is okay. I would say no more than an hour difference between food service stopping and beverage stopping. Yeah.
Does that make sense to you, Mike, or?
Yeah, we're gonna have a full menu, or is it just gonna be like a to-go,
He said like 10 items, 8 to 10 items. You're gonna have like a late night menu?
Late night, yep.
Yeah. But maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like midnight. Sunday night, I'm debatable. I don't have a strong opinion about 1 a.m. or midnight. But then I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm fine with 1 a.m. Sunday, I don't have a strong opinion.
And thoughts on the entertainment license also going to those hours?
What do they have right now for entertainment?
10 p.m., right?
No, what do they do?
Same.
I thought
It matches their liquor license.
But it's just TV, right?
Is it TV or do you have music?
No, TV and music.
But the TV plays the music,
TV
yeah.
plays.
Is it, Officer
live
Santiago, is it loud? It's not really loud. Do you hear it on the street?
No.
Okay.
I mean, he's got speakers. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's a 1 a.m. TV, music off at a certain time, I guess, I would say, but his speakers are small. He doesn't play it loud at all. I mean, you can't hear it on the street, in other words. You can't. So.
I would think as long as we're not hearing it on the street, then they're in compliance with everything, so there's no real issues that way.
Yeah.
Would any of my fellow commissioners like to make a motion on the hours that they would like approved? Go ahead, Emily.
So I think it was in motion for 1 a.m. for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, midnight is the motion. Kitchen open till midnight, Thursday through Sunday. Kitchen closes at 11 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Did I hit everything, Bernie? Is that right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That was my motion.
And can I get a second?
I'd say.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And can we get a motion to also approve the change of hours of an amusement and entertainment license to match the hours that were just discussed of Monday through Wednesday until midnight and Thursday through Sunday until 1 a.m.?
Motion.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
doing it.
Thank
Thanks.
Take care.
Next on the agenda this evening, we have a public hearing to consider a change of manager of a wine and malt beverages on-premise consumption license application for EH24 LLC DBA Hampton Inn, Boston Logan Airport, Chelsea at 202nd Street in Chelsea, Mass.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Hensler. I'm an attorney at Upton, Cannell, and Devlin in Boston.
My name is Erin Drew. I'm the Director of Sales for the Hampton Inn, Boston Logan Airport, Chelsea.
Sorry. I'll just lean in. So Erin is here again for a change of manager for the Hampton Inn, Boston Logan Airport, Chelsea. Erin is a U.S. citizen. She is a Massachusetts resident. She is familiar with the rules and regulations of this board, the ABCC, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol, and she has experience in the industry. Since 2014, she has served as a banquet supervisor at the Westin Copley Place in Boston, complex events manager at a couple of Marriotts in the Seaport simultaneously, event sales manager at the Hyatt Regency in Cambridge, a catering sales manager at the Liberty Hotel in Boston, and most recently, the director of sales at the Hampton Inn Boston Logan Airport in Chelsea. Before I open it up to questions, I will add that nothing else on this license is changing. And with that, we thank you for your time.
Thank you. My initial question that I would just have for you is based upon your past experience and current experience, it does look like you have primarily been inside of a sales role. How involved have you been on the operational side of things in terms of alcohol regarding the purchasing and sale?
In my experience with the Westin Copley, where I was a banquet supervisor, I was actually the beverage supervisor. Did all of the liquor ordering. Goodness, it's 7:30. I'm sorry. Did all of the liquor ordering. Did all of the beverage consumptions at the end of the night for the billing. Worked directly with the bartenders. I have worked outside of the resume in a restaurant setting as a server myself, as well as every time when I'm working up in the event side of things, I've always been closely related with the operations side. The Hampton is a small property, so as the director of sales, I am still very heavily involved in the operations. 99% of the time, if you walk in that building, I'm probably standing at the front desk, so.
And are you TIP certified?
I am, as is the entire of the staff.
That's
Thank
what I was about to add.
Thank you. Questions from my fellow commissioners?
First of all, thank you for waiting for an hour and a half for your turn. I know it's been a long night. Second of all, so we had an issue with a hotel management when someone came before us. One of the things that security cameras are really important, and so we had an issue where police officers went to a hotel that we had just sort of granted a license for, alcohol license for management, and they refused to give the security camera footage to the police. So I just want to make sure we're clear that like there are rules around you have like when police need a security camera footage, like it's required.
So Aaron, during the hour and a half, we had time to catch up, and we went over the security cameras at this property. Erin actually has 24/7 access to them on her phone.
Right.
If you guys wanted to see that right now, you could see, who's checking in and who's enjoying themselves. Anytime the police, obviously, we're here to comply.
Thank you.
And also, we are actually expanding our cameras. We don't have a set date yet, but it should be within the next 4 weeks. We'll be adding several just to the premise, just to cover even more that, kind of gaps that we've identified personally that have really nothing to do even with the jurisdiction of the liquor license, but have been working closely with our ownership to, expand that coverage.
Right.
And just to reiterate on what my fellow commissioner has stated, making sure that those cameras are maintaining a minimum of 30 days of rolling footage. So it is submitting them upon request by the police department or the city in a timely manner, which we have deemed repeatedly means 24 to 48 hours, particularly dependent upon the nature of the reason why they're asking for those. We have had instances in our community over the last year where we have had some serious crimes that have taken place, not necessarily pertaining to the establishment, but those cameras could have potentially caught something that would aid our police department in their investigation to keep our streets and our residents and our businesses safe. And it is imperative that they get what they need as quickly as possible to ensure that they can conduct their jobs. As Emily stated, we did have an issue in the past year where we had approved a change of manager for one of the hotels in our community, and then it was the next month or within a couple months?
Like 2 weeks later.
Yeah. They were before us for a disciplinary because they did not comply with those rules. We are repeatedly having establishments in the community coming before us for not following the rules of our cameras. So we just want to make sure we are very clear when we change a manager that they understand what those rules are.
So we have made it very clear to our front desk staff, should any officer request to see footage at any time, they are allowed to allot them to go back. It would just be a manager that can provide the actual hard copy footage during daytime hours would be the only request. But we are available on weekends as well, as it is a 24/7 establishment. It's just if an incident happened at 4 a.m., night auditor is more than welcome to show them that. And then at 8 a.m., we would be able to get you the actual footage. We do just need to get it on a flash drive would be the only thing that we would need to do because of the way that we have to download it from our cameras. But we do have 30 days of backup.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Police Department?
Being a licensed establishment, I just want to reinforce the fact that if we respond there for an incident or anything like that, and we ask your staff for their ID, because for the most part they are the folks who call, they need to provide that over, okay? Because we've had
100%.
instances, not saying with you guys, but some folks don't believe they need to turn their ID over to us when we ask them to present it. And I get it, people are nervous to come up in front as witnesses and stuff like that, but that's just what the legalities are.
Absolutely. All of our staff would be compliant of that. The only thing is for a witness statement, we would want it to be a manager that would be present, just based on what our ownership's expectation is that it would be coming from leaders. But all staff would be compliant, excuse me, with that.
Well, thank you.
Any questions or concerns? I'm assuming the background check has been run. We have no issues.
No issues. Clear.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Seeing no one, any commentary from my fellow commissioners? Can we get a motion to approve the change in manager of a wine and malt beverage on-premise consumption license for EH24 LLC, DBA, Hampton Inn Boston, Logan Airport, Chelsea?
A motion.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Moving right along, we have number 7 on the agenda this evening is a public hearing to consider an alteration of premises of an all kinds of alcoholic beverages on-premise consumption license for Shadow Hospitality, LLC, DBA, Chelsea Station at 105 Everett Avenue, Chelsea, Mass.
Mike Sheridan, owner of Chelsea Station. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for coming before us today. Can you tell us a bit about why you were here?
Pretty much the same exact reason Edson was here. As we all know, we don't want to relive it, but we all were granted patio licenses during COVID, and the state has now changed the rules, so we're basically applying as if we've never had one. So I'm here before you to go through all the legalese to make sure that we're doing everything we're supposed to do to ensure that we can continue doing what we've already been doing.
And based upon what I saw in our packet, it looks like it's the same square footage that you've been utilizing for the last few years?
Yes, it's for anyone that doesn't know, it's all private property. There's no Chelsea property involved. Of course, now I'm forgetting the name of our management company, but they long ago gave us a permission to make some alterations. It used to be a bank, so that was a driveway section in front of the restaurant, and we've taken that over and turned that into a patio. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I believe it's 1,600 square feet is the actual space utilized. It has the capability for 60 people, and the hours are basically a reflection of the existing hours of the restaurant.
Questions from my fellow commissioners?
You're not taking any of the parking, right?
Say that again?
It's not affecting the parking at all?
No, it doesn't affect the parking at all. Like, again, it was a driveway, so it's the only part we took is that. And the area around the front sign, but none of that affects the parking.
Right. And how long do you think you'll be using the space?
During normal hours of operation.
But how long of the year?
You mean the season, like what months?
Yes, exactly. What months?
What months?
It's seasonal, so the expectation would hopefully be, late May to end of October. And then, obviously, knowing what the processes and the legalese is, anytime we have something outside of the realm of our normal stuff, we just apply, as we've done in the past.
Yeah.
Other questions from my fellow commissioners? From the police department, any questions, concerns?
Not really, just that you guys, because it used to be a driveway, so both entrances are currently blocked.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Where you're gonna have the outside seating, it being a driveway, was there?
No,
There's no longer access for vehicles in the area now.
Okay, perfect.
That's not part of the parking lot has the parking lot has the entrances, but that's like a.
That's been.
It was it was the old
An
ATM,
ATM.
like drive-through.
ATM,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's all been blocked off.
Okay, thank you.
We've eaten there a bunch. The parking lot entrances are fine.
Yeah, the driveway that he's referencing, I don't know when that was last in use.
Yeah.
2011, that would be.
Yeah.
But I think you even have a wall at one end of it that you created in your patio space.
Yes, there was privacy fencing put around, yes.
Yes. So there's no chance of a car accessing that area and potentially causing any sort of an issue.
Also, the city was kind enough to give us the Jersey barriers that actually
Perfect.
encompass the property, so you'd have to be going really fast to get through.
So also same commentary for Edson was the lighting, just make sure.
There's a lot of lighting out front.
Okay.
We have like a wall of lighting that goes down one side, and then there's lighting on the bushes, and then there's lighting around the fencing and the tables themselves.
Perfect, thank you.
I have eaten on that patio at night, and it is well lit.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns from the police department? Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter? I see that we've kind of cleared out here, so chances are slim. Can I get, or anything else from my fellow commissioners? Can I get a motion to approve the alteration of the premises of an all kinds of alcoholic beverage on-premise consumption license application for Shadow Hospitality, LLC, DBA Chelsea Station?
I make a motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could I indulge a quick question while we have members of police and law enforcement here?
Certainly.
We've seen, everyone has seen, everyone carries water bottles now. Everybody carries some kind of drinking vessel. And we wanted to start putting up some signage in the restaurants to discourage people from doing it because we have no idea what's in it. And like every restaurant, and I know this is a problem everybody deals with, we find the little nips in our trash in the restrooms constantly. So we were going to put some signage up just discouraging people from bringing any kind of open container into the restaurant. We've been pretty lenient about it, but it's becoming an issue.
That is an issue, especially since Chelsea doesn't sell nips anymore, so.
Exactly.
We're looking to see where those are coming from.
But we find them around the property. We find them. Young people are very resourceful.
Well, thanks for letting us know that they either bringing it from the outside or from another city that's still selling those nips. But you already have signs up that says no outside food or
No, we were
beverages?
going to put them up. I just wanted to make sure, because the law seems a little gray. I always thought it was no open containers of any kind in a licensed establishment. That's what I always believed to be true.
Yeah, so we'll have to look into that.
Okay.
We'll be in touch.
Yep, I figured I'd just ask the question while they were here.
You can certainly restrict them from no outside food or beverages. You're allowed to put up that sign.
Okay, thanks.
I'm also under the understanding from the years of running establishments that you're not supposed to be able to bring an open container in. So I wouldn't see there being any reason.
Yeah,
And if it's
obviously
his
they're going in and
establishment,
obscuring it.
Legally, it's your property, so you could put up something stating you're not
Yes.
allowing that, correct?
Yes. Yes. And you have a right to trespass folks off too. So
No, that's never been an issue, but this is something that we just, while I had you guys here, I figured I'd ask the question.
Yeah, I think it'd be good just to protect yourselves, because obviously God forbid, they're overserved or something
Exactly.
like that, it would come back to your establishment, so.
Being in the industry as long as I have, I'm always prevent first, worry about the other stuff later.
And that's where tons of establishments actually have signs that say no outside food or
Right.
drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that, whether it's a water bottle or not, that's an outside drink.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That would be it.
Thank you all very much.
Good luck.
Thank
Take care.
you. Next on the agenda this evening, we have a public hearing to amend the cannabis marijuana regulations as to social equity licenses. So the commission has before them the proposed amendment. Hopefully everybody has read this.
Yeah.
And this particular section, oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. That's why it didn't make sense. I'm like, nope. Do you have a copy of the, I think I flipped it. Ah, yes. Can I borrow yours for a minute? Thank you. Oh, too many pieces of paper tonight. We have from the city solicitor, we are looking to add a new paragraph after the second full paragraph in section 12.03 that reads as follows. The Licensing Commission will not consider a general applicant for marijuana establishment licensure if the number of economic empowerment and social equity marijuana establishment licensees is less than half of the total number of marijuana establishment licensees. Questions on that change?
It looks like we already had that in place. It's just now we're adopting it from the state. Is that correct?
So because of the state, it has to be a part of our rules. It's something that we had kind of been doing, so we're already in compliant with that change with the current licenses that are out. But we need to make it so it's officially a part of the city's rules and regulations.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve adding that new paragraph?
Motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
While we are on the subject of the cannabis license, I know Ms. Christmas had brought up at the last meeting a note that I had sent along, and that full note was included in everybody's packages. I apologize, it looks like it wasn't necessarily super clear in that package. But what it comes down to is if we went back a year ago, in March of 2023, we were approving a bunch of new licenses.
Right.
It really has no reflection on anything who these licenses are. What matters is what came to be a topic of discussion at the March meeting and the subsequent April meeting of last year. So in last year's meetings, there was a conversation regarding a section of our rules and regulations that states, and this is underneath 12.03 of our rules and regulations. The second paragraph underneath there currently states, the City of Chelsea Licensing Commission shall not conduct a hearing on the licensure of a marijuana establishment until that marijuana establishment has obtained a provisional license from the Cannabis Control Commission. So a year ago, we had an entity come before us prior to having that provisional license. And again, it doesn't matter which establishments we're talking about. So this all happened last year, and at our April meeting, our city solicitor stated, and this is in our minutes from those meetings, our city solicitor stated that That line was put in prior to the initial cannabis licenses being issued in our city, and it was something that was no longer required. I then stated at that meeting, which is again noted in those minutes, that we should change our we should change our rules and regulations to reflect that. If it is no longer required, then we need to change those rules and regulations.
Yeah.
So since we are already having a conversation about changing those rules and regulations, I would make a motion to change this verbiage, and we can talk about what that would be at the same time. So we're just changing these rules and regulations for the cannabis in one fell swoop. And there's that section and potentially one other section that would need to also be amended. I know not everybody was on the board last year, but does what I'm saying make sense?
Yeah.
Questions on that? So what I would propose, we do know that anybody who's applying for a cannabis license does have to apply to the Cannabis Control Commission for a provisional license. But what I am proposing we state in this particular paragraph, I think we can just literally change a word or two to be in compliance moving forward, so this does not become a subject or a question with any future licensees.
Mm-hmm.
So I propose making an adjustment so it reads, "The City of Chelsea Licensing Commission shall not conduct a hearing on the licensure of a marijuana establishment until that marijuana establishment has applied for a provisional license from the Cannabis Control Commission." I don't think, based upon the conversation a year ago, we don't need them to actually have been approved for that provisional license yet, because they'll never get the actual license until that's happened. But if it says has obtained, then that means they have to have already been approved and have that provisional license before they should ever show up in front of us for a meeting. And we established last year that that was not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe we either need to strike that paragraph completely or change that line so it doesn't say has obtained and it says has applied for. Thoughts?
I like them to show that they at least applied, like a copy of the application.
It's common sense. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't feel very strongly about which language. It's fine.
So that would change to has applied for. And before I make a motion, the second part that I would just want confirmation on if this would also need to get changed, and this is underneath 12.06 in the applications. So the third bullet point states a copy of the applicant's license from the Cannabis Control Commission or Department of Public Health or Department of Agriculture. So they wouldn't necessarily have that license yet. So would we just say a copy of the applicant's application for a license?
Yeah, you could do it that way. If you felt strongly that they should have at least put in an application prior to coming, then you could strike that from a provisional license to an application. I think that would be appropriate.
The applicant's.
A completed application.
Mm.
So
Completed, yeah.
copy of the applicant's completed application to the CCC. Okay, so what I would like to make a motion.
Can you read the last one? Did you just?
Well, I still need them to say
Right,
yes
but you,
before you write it down.
no, I know that, but you did this one.
Yep.
Where has applied, but you didn't say this one how.
I was going to do that next, but I'll do it right now. So what I am suggesting for that third bullet point underneath 12.06 applications, it currently states a copy of the applicant's license from the Cannabis Control Commission or Department of Public Health or Department of Agriculture. I'm proposing that we change that to read a copy of the applicant's completed application to the Cannabis Control Commission or Department of Public Health or Department of Agriculture. Can I get a motion to approve those changes?
Motion.
And a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. And now we are on to the last item on the agenda, public hearing to adopt the pawnbrokers regulations and the adoption of the finance charges. Again, we have been given a proposed amendment to adjust the rules and regulations for the pawnbrokers. Have all of my fellow commissioners had a chance to review this?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
So there was a statement saying that we applied to the Division of Banks. There's no confirmation yet.
No, we have not applied because the commission hasn't passed a regulation yet.
Okay.
So if you look in section 5 of this ordinance, it says upon passage or amendment of section 1305 of this chapter, the licensing administrator shall send a letter with the following information in it. So that will make it so that not just this commission, not just this motion, but in perpetuity, whenever a licensing commission proposes to make a change to the pawnbrokers regulations, then the licensing administrator will need to apply to the Division of Banks, because the chapter of Mass General Law that governs this is technically not us. It's the Division of Banks. So we need to say, this is what we want. Is it okay with you, essentially? And so this section will sort of trigger that action each time it's changed.
All right, thank you.
And just to confirm, because it says up at the top of section 13.05 that it is valid only upon the Division of Banks approval, which is kind of why we're doing this right now.
Exactly. So the commission can't act alone in regards to regulating pawnbrokers' notes. So the Division of Banks needs to be involved, and that's what this would do.
Upon approving this, do you have any sort of an idea as to the timeline that it takes to then get the approval from the Division of Banks?
I don't think it will take very long. I've been in touch with the undersecretary or deputy commissioner of the division that regulates this, so she's aware of it, and I think that they'd be able to act pretty quickly. What I've proposed to the commission is pretty uniform with most other municipalities across the state. I think there's only like 1 or 2 cities that have done anything different than what this would do, which is the 3% monthly charge.
Questions, commissioners? Anything from the police department?
Nope.
I would ask if there's anyone from the public, but seeing as it's an empty room, I would say that there isn't. So can I get a motion to approve, a motion to adopt the pawnbrokers regulations and the adoption of the finance charges as proposed in this draft?
Motion.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Is there anything from any of my fellow commissioners?
Well, what are we going to do about the
Oh, yes, we have to go
marijuana?
back. Apologies.
I mean, she's obviously not here. I mean, we love her, but what do we do?
Apologies,
Move it?
we do have to go back. So first on our agenda this evening, which we had pushed to the end of the meeting, was a conference as to the status of the retail marijuana establishment license to GVLP Corp. DBA Vita Verde at 320 Revere Beach Parkway, Chelsea, Mass. And no one has presented themselves before us this evening. Thoughts from my fellow commissioners?
This is Gladys's.
When
So
someone
this
does not show
this
up?
is for that location over on.
The last license out there? Or
The-
is there one already, there's two outstanding?
So
Well, we met with,
we've met with everybody
No, this last one.
but this one.
this is the second
So-
time we've met with,
So this one came before us in November or December.
because they were gonna sell the building?
So we had asked, it was brought to our attention because of the giant for lease sign on the side of the building. So Ms. Gladys Vega came before us at that time, and I apologize, I can't remember if it was November or December, but at that time, she stated that she had spoken with her landlord at the Russo's Tux location and asked for an extension, if you will, into February. So that way she could kind of firm things up. There was a conversation about being focused on what was going on at another business that they operate, and they needed to redirect their focus as to whether or not they were moving forward. There was also a statement made at that meeting about the profitability of the cannabis industry.
Saturated.
So it sounded at that time that it was in question as to whether they would be moving forward, and we had asked that she come back before us. I believe we had said at that meeting, come back before us in February and give us an update as to what is happening. And I believe she was supposed to come before us last month, and she had asked for a continuance to this month, and is now not here.
I guess my only concern is if we currently have one vendor that's ready for this license, then we should question if a vendor is not going to use that license, could another vendor use it? But if no one's waiting,
So we don't, but they are looking for a space. Vladimir's looking for a space.
yeah, that would be my only concern. But if no one's waiting, then we should give her a chance.
Yeah.
I think we can ask her to come
Yeah.
next month.
I mean, I think the question is, I mean, she's running, I mean, she's running, I mean, she has a lot going on, and so if her business, I mean, I just think the question is who has, like, is someone in her business, like, in her group has the time to, like, run this business, because I think they aren't all full-time. So I don't know what's happening with it.
My concern is that the building's empty.
Yeah, they've made no progress, right.
A long time. Does she have a contract? Does she not have a contract? What's the timeline that
There
this
was
license
a
could be
big
used?
build-out, too. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
the plan for that was like a
was
whole
big.
If there's another vendor
renovation.
that has a built-out and is ready to use it,
Yeah, it wasn't like there's a space ready for them to move in. Like,
Yeah.
it was, if I remember correctly, it was like a whole thing.
so I want to be fair to the people who have applied and waiting versus the people who are still waiting to find a building. And I think from our last meeting, that vendor was still looking for a place.
Yeah, Vladimir was looking for a
So
place, yeah.
if it's not going to be used right away, then let's just postpone it, because there's no rush, and then give her another chance to present it,
Yeah.
since she is the current license holder. But if there's no plan to use it,
Yeah.
and there's another event, we want to be fair.
I agree that we want to be fair. My concern is they
been
asked
a
for a
year.
continuance to this meeting,
Yeah, that's
and then they
rough.
didn't show up at this meeting.
That's fair, yeah,
So
that's right.
I take a little concern with the fact that you asked for a continuance and then you don't show up.
So my question to that is, when people don't show up, what is our options?
So it's a status hearing, so that doesn't necessitate that this board takes any action. So there's really there's no action for you to take. There's no action I would even argue that you can take.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't been properly noticed, even if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's anything left to do
Yep.
on that.
So I would say, let's reach out and say, what's going on? Because you come.
I mean, at some point, you could then call a hearing to discuss, like, so I guess, how do you take a license?
The same way you would any other.
Like, you have to have a
Yeah,
hearing.
you'd have to have a hearing and do it that way. I think you could probably speak informally with the person who's holding the license right now and say, you know, what's the deal? Are you, you know,
Yeah.
what's going on? And if they are planning on doing something with it, then they can move forward. If they're not, then,
Yeah.
you know, then we can work out a situation with someone else, you know. That's
Yeah.
what I would suggest doing. But like I said, I don't think, given this agenda and what was noticed for this meeting, I don't think we can do anything.
No, I'm in agreement there. It really was just for an update as to what's happening because, as Ms. Christmas stated, the reason we asked all of these establishments to come before us is
Yeah.
because we do have multiple people that are trying to have these establishments in our community, and currently more people have asked for licenses than there are licenses. So we want to make sure that those that have been approved for licenses are actually moving forward.
Yeah.
And that way, we're not blocking somebody else from moving forward with a business in our community.
Yeah.
So I would agree that we just ask them to come before us next month and give us an update as to that status. And then we kind of go from there. And if they don't come before us again, then we can look at making it be a more formal request for them coming before us.
Or can she send, can they send a note, can they send an email that's stating like, can they do a written update? I mean, because sometimes I just, you know, especially for Gladys, like,
I
know
believe they could have done that when I saw her on Tuesday and she said that she was coming
Well,
today.
maybe we would say this time, you either need to come in person or you need to send a written update, but something needs to be communicated to the commission for June. And that way, we give her two options, and then she can make a decision, but at some point, you know, we need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's been 6-7 months, right?
It's been a year.
Yeah, it's been a year. Yeah.
Other comments from my fellow commissioners?
Bless you.
No? Can I get a motion to put that back on the agenda for next month's meeting?
A conference or a public hearing?
Just a conference.
Conference.
Yeah, status
Just the
update.
exact same thing, move it
Yeah.
to the June meeting.
Motion.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we're done. So, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 13th, 2024. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Marnie.
You're good.